If you've listened to any of the frequently asked questions so far, you'll notice I've touched on weight loss quite a bit, and the reason being this is, apart from incurable illness, this is probably the number one thing that people present within the clinic. Normally most people don't present and say, hey, I solely want to lose weight. They normally say, I'm tired, I'm sick, I've been diagnosed with this. But this is most people's life story. They struggle all their weight, or they're jealous of someone who's quite thin and underweight, not realising that unfortunately they don't look very healthy either, particularly to the opposite sex. I want to talk to you a little bit about Atkins, the zone diet, and the third one, which is the blood type diet. Now, there's a reason why I want to talk to you about these three, because they're probably the three most dangerous ways to lose weight. And I'm not in the minority. Your medical doctor, if he's intelligent and up to date, which unfortunately the perception of medicine is shifting in terms of a caring doctor like in the 50s who'll take your height and your weight and do things. But I'm here to tell you how to spot a diet that's not going to work. One, it's a diet, and it's not a lifestyle. Secondly, it tells you can do whatever you want and lose weight. It says you pick up the back of the Zone diet. Nothing against this book, but it says, hey, sit in front of the TV. Sounds good to me. Lose weight. And so, what's the truth about calories? You hear, main thing people talk about is calorie counting. Well, calories is losing weight very unpleasantly through starvation. Calories are not a measure of fat; they're actually a measure of energy. So it's actually measuring how much energy does your body have. So by counting calories, it's like saying, well, all right, there's energy in all living things. Even alcohol's got energy. Everything's got energy. I mean, it's got yeast. I mean, we use it as fuel. It's not going to give you more energy once it gets in your body, but there's energy in everything. So let me just put in less energy, and then when my body feels tired, it will be forced to have to break itself down, struggle and stimulate my adrenal glands to work better. Where's the problem here? Well, for one, you're mortgaging your health. And, you know, if your outcome is to get cancer or AIDS or something else, enjoy a cheeseburger when you're hungry. That's what Dr. Atkins said. Well, unfortunately, he died from cardiovascular problems. He was very overweight for much of his life. He was always in the upper healthy weight limit. He promoted what's called ketosis as a lifelong process. If you've got anybody on Atkins, please get them off. Have a look at what ketosis is on the internet. It's acidosis. Have you heard of acid and alkaline? You throw yourself into a state of acidosis. All the water goes out of your body, out of your skin. I could quote all sorts of places. The American Institute for Cancer talks about how it lacks any sort of basic necessary skills for anyone to have a lifetime of balanced nutrition. There's a Journal of Obesity, the International Journal rather. I remember it was talking about high protein diets and the absolute way they impair mental functioning. They've done the American Dietetic Association 12 weeks on the Atkins diet, and you have a huge increase in heart attacks. In fact, the only single study done on Atkins, 70% of people became constipated and 65% of people had bad breath. In fact, you can hear Oprah Winfrey when she go on this diet talking about peeing on a stick to making sure her body didn't break down too bad and how bad her breath was. And Dr. Dean Ornish, who's a genius, who we'll talk about in another aspect, how he has helped people overcome cardiovascular illnesses without surgery. Amazing man. And he talks about what a dangerous and misleading diet this is. But I have to tell you, if there's one diet that's going to ruin your health, I couldn't think of a way to do it faster. Now, obviously, I want to reiterate that if you want me to talk about this, or you want to learn about this in 20 or 30 minutes, I've got DVD sets and I've got CD sets that you can just get online and order, where you can hear about a whole 30 minutes about why you wouldn't do this. If you've got a friend, you can say, look, I've got a friend who's a naturopath or a bit of a genius in this area. Give it to them, and you can get some information for yourself. If you're looking at something like the Zone diet, this is an intake of calories. The intake of calories is less than what a 100-pound woman, and I often use this because I do picture a lot of this information once it's on the internet going to people in America, but because I'm primarily based in Australia, I'm going to be very wrong, and I want to give the disclaimer, but 100 pounds you have to divide by 2.2, so 100 pounds divided by 2 is 50, divided by 2.2, it's below 50, it's 40-something. So you're taking about as much energy as a 40-kilo-something woman, 40-something kilo, and look at the book. You can have cottage cheese, Haagen-Dazs ice cream, Snickers bars, bottles of beer, Boston cream pies. There's no journal studies published. Don't think that we're in the minority when we're in natural health. We talk about this. There is nothing medically. These are fad diets that even the medical community wouldn't want you to be on. And this quote, he says things like the body is genetically unable to cope with grains. genetically unable. Grains have been the staple of people's diets for thousands of years. The Egyptians were on the Nile. In fact, for cardiac patients, he says he makes claims like a high carbohydrate diet may be hazardous to the health, when in fact we know protein is what is very hazardous to the coronary arteries and things. It's a very, 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 very dangerous way to lose weight. Finally, the blood type diet. This is almost the worst of all. It's based on the premise that our ancestors were meat eaters. It seems logical, doesn't it, if you believe in evolution, even though it's been quite firmly established now that they're most probably vegetarian. If even, I see a lot of Christian people, if you're Christian, if it helps your belief systems, biblically people didn't eat meat till actually after the flood, which according to biblical history was only a few thousand years ago. And it's very much a faulty premise. Now, if you're type A, that's fortunate because you're told to at least be vegetarian, but you're told to not eat potatoes, tomato, cabbage, but you're told you can eat snails. Type Bs are told to eat a lot of dairy products. They're told to eat rabbit, lamb, mutton, and avoid tomatoes, tofu, pumpkin. And if you're a type AB, you're told to eat jelly, jam, rabbit, turkey. It's an energy deficient diet. If people lose weight, again, it's because they're throwing themselves into a subdued energy mode where the body breaks itself down to stay alive. And also, this diet runs very contrary with people like Dr. Dean Ornish, who I wanted to reference before, who has reversed heart disease in all blood types with a very similar type of diet. So while it does feel good because, this must make common sense, we are of the belief in natural health that blood type can change. I personally believe that we all should be blood type O, and that people shift. And I really believe, bottom line, there's only two types of blood. There's healthy blood and there's unhealthy blood. Now, the other thing, if you choose to do the naturopathic course, we are going to talk about, there's over a dozen different ways to differentiate blood type. The O, A, and B and AB method is simply the most familiar. It doesn't make it the most accurate. It doesn't make it the best. It's still very accurate, which is why medicine traditionally still uses it. But there's a number of different ways we can use to measure different people's things and people's genetic constitution. There's much better ways to look at diets to put them on rather than just breaking them up into a blood type, notwithstanding the fact that unfortunately there's been no journal studies published on this diet. If you read his book, there's not a shred of scientific evidence. There's, apart from the assumption that everyone ate meat and our blood type has somehow morphed and people with newer blood types shouldn't eat as much meat, there is not a shred of scientific evidence anywhere in this book, and be careful not to be hooked by that. Now, we're going to go into some other ways you can measure blood type in other areas. Obviously, there's Rh negative and there's Rh positive, and we're going to talk about some of the reactions and what that could mean for you based on your blood type and some of the strategies you can do, as well as some of the impact that it will make to your immune system and your platelet count, and things that we know medically as well.